Hey, it's Shireen Vishmaya, and I wanted to make this video on Venus Day, Good Friday, while Mercury was still in the last few hours of Pisces, because I think it's giving us a lot of deep spiritual insights and compassion in this nice trine to Mercury. Mercury in Pisces is making a really nice trine to the moon in Scorpio at the moment. And so a couple things. One, I wanted to announce that I am opening up some time in my schedule starting next week where I will be seeing people who are desperately in need of counseling but don't have the means. I'm going to be offering up a donation-based sliding scale, and for people who are really desperate, even no fee, only in very extreme circumstances. Obviously, I know people won't take advantage of that, and any money that I will be making from these sessions, I will be donating 100% back into Amma, who is putting all the money into helping people with the COVID here. So yeah, I'm just allocating a certain number of hours every week now to this around my regularly scheduled client work. So I'm going to try to see as many people as I can, and for those that I can't fit into my schedule, I will be also offering some group counseling sessions. So I wanted to get that out there first and foremost, and then other people had been asking me just for some updates about what's going on right now. And we're in, we just had the full moon in Libra. I made a quick video about that, but we're also now about to have Mercury change signs, going into Aries, and Venus recently just changed signs and went into Gemini. So we're more in we're moving into different atmosphere elementally. Like, we're now going to have Mercury out of water, which is important since Venus is in Gemini answering to Mercury. The fact that Mercury is no longer in Pisces and moving into Aries in a few hours will change the feeling tone behind the way we relate and the way we communicate. So I think we want to get as much compassion as we can before we kind of go back into this fiery battlefield mode. And I feel the real gift of Mercury, having spent so much time in Pisces with that retrograde, was to help us really deepen into a surrender, which we need so much, this surrender attitude with these times. And I've been saying that, especially for those of us who are empaths and those of us who have been on a spiritual path, this is like the time we've been waiting for, in a way. Maybe not in this format. Of course, it's never the way we could ever imagine things would go down. But like I've said, it's, kind of a no-brainer if you're on the spiritual path, where if you were struggling with, like, do I choose the path of really 100% committing to my sadhana, my soul work, my inner work, my practices, or am I going to be distracted by all these, because the world certainly had some amazing distractions going on. We were hitting some high level and some very low level junk distractions too. But I mean, the fact that we could travel all over the world and we can have access to so many, which we still do have access to so many amazing online teachers and courses, but also that we're in this time where, or we were just coming out of this time where, there was like no bounds to anything. And so that definitely had its repercussions. We were quite spoiled. And so now, and we weren't thinking about the way everything was reverberating. This was what the Libra full moon was really revealing for us, that we weren't thinking about the consequences of our actions. And so if we think of the goddess Mot, with one scale weighing the feather and the other the heart, our hearts were happy because we were carrying that karmic load of selfishness and not considering how our desires and kind of like running rampant with just the way corporations had been taking over the world. I mean, the cities were getting ruined, the air quality was getting ruined, and we were paying the price already. But I think we were all like, the house had been on fire. We were all kind of just trying to like stay distracted and hope it would magically work itself out. I don't know what we were thinking. I mean, I think we all sensed we were on the brink for a while. and it was a house of cards, and now here we are. But Mother Nature's getting break, and we're being asked, it's not such a big sacrifice if you think about it, because Pisces is also very connected to the hangman archetype, especially in connection with Neptune. The planet Neptune is very connected with the hangman archetype. So I just did, for the Astrology of Awakening Summit, you can still get in on that if you want. It's happening all weekend. I just did this class on the sacred cross of matter and how we're all in this time of really being stretched to our limits. Like if you think of the cross in the horoscope and the cross of the self being pulled in all directions, we're being really pulled into our hearts. Our hearts are getting stretched as widely as possible because we have nowhere to go. I mean, we have to sit with ourselves. We're on the cross. We're all on the cross this Good Friday. We're all in the bereavement. We're all in the grieving stage of, even if we know this ultimately is for the better, it's not easy to go through the calamity and the loss and the disaster and the decomposition, deconstruction, and destruction of everything around us in the process. And, there's a lot of loss, a lot of devastation that we aren't even aware of yet, that we're going to walk back into when we are able to go out. We're going to have to kind of face like the aftermath of this. It is like a war. So, but we have to keep our spirits up and strong, and we have to use this time to really tap into our inner strength. As my spiritual teacher here has been talking about, using it like a battery, like charge ourselves up with self-confidence and courage, which is the antivirus, she says, to the virus. So fear is the virus of the mind, and courage and confidence are the antivirus. So we really need to amp up our inner strength and our courage to get through this. And we can use this time at home, instead of trying to run from ourselves, to really turn inward to ourselves and realize that the more we're stretched and the more we go into truth and go into the sacred, and we go into compassion and reverence and gratitude, and just realizing like all the impermanence, this is really revealing to us all the impermanence. Like I said, this is a no-brainer now if you're a spiritual person. Which path do you choose? Like, we're really clear what's permanent, what's impermanent. Before it was kind of like, oh, we can dance around in the impermanent and then keep our eye on the permanent, on the immortal, right? Like the immortal bliss, but still like dance around here, have a good time, but try to keep that connection. And now it's like, well, the gift is that it's like, okay, now it's time. Like there's no more procrastination. Like it's time to really be on your path, like your inner path, because the outer has been decimated right now. So we have to really cling to the inner. And this all happened, this quarantine, which is like its own alchemical alembic, 40 days at least that we're quarantined. That's a transformational time. Like I said, quarantine means 40. So all of us will at least be quarantined, I would imagine, about around 40 days, 6 weeks, the way it looks to be going. And so we can use this time to purify. Alchemy is a purification, like allow all that muck, all that accumulation of negative tendencies and stuck rooted patterns and bad habits and all of that. If we're willing to confront that and put that in the alembic to be cooked right now, a very powerful transformation can happen. But we have to be willing to look at the Negredo, our stuck places, our Saturn work. That's the Negredo. To really go into the heart of that work right now and to courageously confront ourselves and everything we've been trying to hide from ourselves, and whatever keeps us from a deeper level of love and compassion with ourselves and ultimately with others, where we might have been skipping steps or avoiding, or we had addictions, whatever we did to run away from ourselves, we're now being asked to really come into the self. This is the time of Aries. The sun is exalted right now. So coming home to ourself, I shared this beautiful quote from Jung that I love, that he shared in the Red Book, about how he wants to be like a force like the sun, not someone who sucks the sunlight, but the force like the sun itself. I shared that in the Astrology of Awakening Summit, and I really love that quote for right now. So I wanted to share it with you guys too, in case you missed that talk. It is free, so you can check it out. If you join, I think you have to join today to get the free. I'm not sure what the deadline is, but you can get the talks for like up to 72 hours after they're posted for free. And then if you want to own them, you can purchase them too. But there's a lot of amazing speakers. I'm with 11 other great, fantastic female astrologers, and really incredible work they're all doing and sharing. So anyway, and what else do we want to say for this time? I guess I'll make a longer video about Venus and Gemini. I don't know, I had a lot of requests to make a video today for some reason. People are asking me, why don't you make more videos? So I was like, okay, before I go to bed, I'll just try to make a quick one, and I'll make more. I'll try to go deeper into a few topics, maybe tomorrow or the day after. But at least to get, while these thoughts were fresh in my mind, I wanted to share them. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a chance to come into your own center and allow yourself to grieve during this Good Friday. Regardless, it's not a religious thing, it's just I like the symbolism of it. And honor that hangman surrender. If you work with the tarot, pull out that hangman card today. I think it's a powerful symbol, or whatever cross, whether it's the tree of life or the Ankh, whatever cross symbolism you work with. This is a powerful day to work with that imagery. Okay, I'll be back soon. Take good care.